Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we just rewind a little bit because we could get going there when we were just doing our like, hey, how you doing? But it started to get real quick. So
Bitcoiners, man. That's how we
yeah,
do it, man. We
right.
start
I know
just.
we got together at these meetups and I could go for
It's
days.
like I've known you for 5 years. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
man. 10 years.
absolutely. You know it. Yeah, yeah. Um, do you want to just kick it off and give a little bit of background, however much you want to say, like whatever you want to hold back or
Uh,
whatever, but and then maybe a little bit of your Bitcoin journey and everything.
so first off, I want to give a shout out to Billy Macdo out there. If you're
Billy.
watching this, Billy Macdo, and the rest of the Bay Area Bitcoiners out
Oh
there. Yeah,
yeah, Bay Area Bitcoiners.
Bay Area Bitcoiners, man. Yeah, I'm Eastside Tony. I have a little spiel called Defend the Network. I'm just
Nice.
a guy. I'm just another
Yeah.
node on the network, man. Um, I don't know how to code. I don't know, all these, the reason I started Defend the Network was to be Bitcoin's marketing department. And really what it is I just pay graphic designers and pay artists in Bitcoin to just make me products. That's
Nice.
it, right? And that's the way I just decided to put my money where my mouth is in on that aspect, where it's just like, hey, just start paying these people to see why. I figured number go up technology, right? Number go up technology is what gets people in. It's kind of what got me in.
Right.
I don't know about you. So what got
Yep.
you in?
No, that's 100%. I mean, almost everybody's story mirrors mine, like ooh, make money and then shit coins and yeah, so I'm yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
I've been around long enough to see number go up
Yeah.
for quite a while now. So it's
Yep.
just one of those things where I didn't believe in it at first, and then you always go through these ebbs and flows.
Hmm.
And 2017 happened. That was crazy. Um, the bear market happened, and then
Hmm.
you start seeing what's going on in politics. Man, what's going on? And you get
Yep.
wrapped up into that, and it's so
Yep.
easy to get hooked into that politics side. And then you're like, oh man, and it kind of throws you off of what really I should have been focusing on Bitcoin at that time, right?
Right.
More, which I still was,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, this Bitcoin journey, man, it's crazy. I'm just a normal guy,
Yeah.
right? I'm a blue collar worker. Um, Bitcoin has allowed me to save my energy through time,
Yep.
and right now everything's going pretty well for myself. You know what I mean? Like
That's
I'm not,
sweet.
and when they ask you how much Bitcoin you have, you just always reply, not enough.
Exactly.
Like there's never gonna
Yeah.
stop. Hodling Bitcoin. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This Bitcoin journey is crazy, man.
One of the beautiful things is that I like about Bitcoin, which there's a plethora of things, but made me what you said made me think of it, which is you say I'm just a normal guy, but the beauty here is that when you just lay your ego aside and the reason we're talking to each other isn't to try to make a name for ourselves, isn't try to monetize or isn't trying to get crazy. It is because we are super sold in the conviction that Bitcoin is the best, fill in the blank revolution. It's the best
Bleeding
money. It's the,
edge technology.
yeah,
Bleeding
absolutely.
edge technology.
And so you're not just a guy, you're as important as any, of the more quote unquote famous names in the space, like you matter just as much as the next guy. And so the beauty of it is we're all the same. And that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to get my voice out there was to just strengthen that and be like through these conversations and reaching out and just it's kind of like maybe how the neurosystem connects, if we could look at that through a microscope or something and just watch
Exactly.
these things just all connect, and we're in the process of connecting, and this is a global thing. So I want to just say there's not enough podcasts, there's not enough people talking, there's not enough of this. We just need more and more and more and more because we want to just grow this network and make it huge because it's the collective will of the people that's going to drive this thing, so
Exactly, dude. I called my company Defend the Network for a reason, and
mhm,
I call it a company, but it's really just a side project.
yeah,
I have a 9 to 5. I get paid very well for my 9 to 5, and I don't have any like aspirations to leave my 9 to 5 and go work
yeah,
at a Bitcoin job because I don't think that any Bitcoin job I would be as valuable
right,
in society. You know what I mean? So it's
hmm,
like Defend the Network, dude. It's
yeah,
what this whole thing is about. It's the network,
yep,
right? Like even before Facebook, there was a joke that is like, dude, I had a social network before Facebook.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
Facebook just came and hijacked my social network,
Right.
and it's like, well, I already knew these guys in real life.
Yep.
And this is what the late 90s, early 2000s, these startup companies kind of like hijacked from society, where
Yep.
like, well, these were your networks to begin with, my people.
Yep.
Like, just go outside and go hang out with your
Yeah.
buddies again. Stop fucking being online and
Right.
chatting with them. Like, you can actually, and on top of that, make new friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy part. Like, a lot of
Yes.
people from high school, they get stuck in that little group, that little
Hmm.
cell of like friends. And what's crazy about Bitcoin is like Bitcoin provides a base layer of like, hey, kind of like, I guess, morals, like,
Hmm.
something like, hey, well, at least we agree on Bitcoin. You
Right.
know what I mean? And then
Yeah, for
you can
sure.
build on that foundation of knowledge, Bitcoin
Yeah,
knowledge.
absolutely. That's another thing I love about it is it eliminates that trust factor, and getting back to what you were saying about um, technology, this technology, this financial technology that is known as Bitcoin, I think it's so revolutionary. Like, I mean, name any incredible invention of mankind in the history of the world, it ranks right up there. Uh, Other technologies, you were talking about the social network. I mean, it's a lot of fantasy world, it's a lot of
We are
pseudo.
that
It's
network.
yeah,
We are the network.
right. And the network, like Bitcoin network, there is a underlying network which you hit on earlier too, which is like, hey, I'm not a coder, blah 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 blah. But guess what? When we dive deep, we do have an extensive network of people who are making sure that the actual nuts and bolts of our technological network is working. And I think my place in this thing is in the human network, because that's kind of been my forte. I've been in sales for most of my career and stuff. And so,
Perfect.
what I've been better at is communicating with people and building those relationships, because that's what sales is all about. That's what's, almost everything really. It's about relationships. And I think that's what I really want to focus on. And unlike you, I think I would rather feel more fulfilled if I said sayonara to my fiat mine, and I would think I would, at the end of the day, when I'm 80 years old looking back, I think I would regret not having contributed more or as much as I possibly could to growing the Bitcoin network, the human network.
Well, for me, what I'm saying is like, I get paid,
Yeah.
when I orange pill coworkers, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
literally produce work. Like,
Right.
we are workers, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
a sheet
Yeah.
metal fabricator, I'm a worker. And what I tell them is like, what do you exchange your 40 hours for? Like, that is your time, right? And like,
Yep.
I have a daughter,
Hmm.
she's only going to be young for so long. Like, there's
Right.
an opportunity cost to that,
For
right?
sure.
So if I work overtime, that means I'm going to be late to picking her up. I don't get to pick her up. I don't get to ask her
Yep.
how her day was. I don't get to do this and that. And a lot of people get blinded by
Hmm.
fiat. And
Yep.
that's the cruel joke about fiat, is that they just keep printing more out, dude.
Right.
Like, that thing that you have with your daughter or your family is precious time that you'll never ever ever get back.
For
And
sure.
a lot of people don't weigh that stuff out, man. It's
Hmm.
that opportunity cost. And then you get to the definition of what being rich is. It's
Yes.
like, being rich in my eyes is spending time with my family
Yep.
and knowing that this is not going to be here forever, people.
Right.
Like, in my, like, I can go buy a Ferrari. I can go do whatever I want, but I don't
Hmm.
want that. Like, why would you want that to impress this stranger? It's the whole barbecue, my barbecue equation. Like, I'm inviting the people that I want to come eat my food, not that like I want to impress by like, look how much food I have. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
want you to eat it here,
Yeah.
feed
Yeah.
yourself. Not
Yes.
some people like throw barbecues and they're like, oh, I just want to impress that person.
Yep. Yep.
But that doesn't make no sense.
Oh yeah. Yep. You're right on the money. You're preaching to the choir. Your time is the most valuable asset that you have. It's not Bitcoin, it's your time, and how you choose and who you choose to spend that time with. And a lot of people don't realize that these are the keys to happiness. A lot of people are seeking happiness and they don't realize that those are the keys to those things, not what you're fed through consume, it's propaganda is really what it is. It's propaganda in the
Correct.
form of all media commercials are propaganda, and they're telling you buy, they're telling you, this, and we're all on that hamster wheel which is the fiat machine that you're describing, which is saying you need this in order to be happy. And then the problem is when most people get that car or that thing and that whatever else, they still find that they're not happy. There's a lot of, I mean,
Exactly.
look around at the on the streets of the Bay Area, on this, even up in our neck of the woods, and you name it, all up and down the I-5 corridor and across the nation, you see hopelessness and helplessness and no hope, no joy, no, and it's in their eyes, and they're, on the streets, and yeah, they've made bad life choices a lot of the time, but they're stuck in a system that has failed them. And I'm not going to pull their responsibility out of the equation either, because I believe personal responsibility and accountability are also lacking from this equation. But Bitcoin, I think, has the best chance to put us on the right path again when it comes to these things, and people are escaping their lives through drugs and addiction and all these poor life choices because they don't feel any of those things. They don't want to be stuck on that hamster wheel. They don't want to be in the rat race of, hey, I got to pay this bill, I got to do, and you don't even have time to focus ahead at all because you're just focused on the here and now. And I want that now, I need that now, I want that
That's how
car,
they're
I want, you
that's
know
how they're trained. That's
yeah, for
how
sure.
um yeah, you reminded me of a bunch of stuff right now.
Yeah,
Let's work our way backwards. So
sure.
self-sedation.
Yep.
Self-sedation, where like it's so bleak. You talked about
Mm-hmm.
people being hopeless. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's why the fucking lotto got so big.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like in the billions or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's how bleak things are,
Right.
right? Like that's not a good thing that
No.
they reach this high, because that's how desperate people are, that they're just like, dude, here's
Mm-hmm.
$100, here's whatever, dude. I want to win this $1 billion. And where do you get those lotto tickets? From the freaking liquor store, right? Your friendly local drug merchant,
Yep.
because liquor's a drug, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like, and a lot of people sedate themselves. Hey, I'm guilty as well. Like I have my freaking brewskis. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's one thing that I fight with too, where it's like, dude, lay off this shit, man,
Mm-hmm.
because that's definitely a threat vector just for society, period.
Yeah.
Where it's like the next, freaking Einstein could be hopped up on freaking fentanyl.
Right.
That's
Probably
just the
is.
way he was raised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like that's the environment that he was. And I understand that, like, definitely, like, you have, you're your own person, you can make your own decisions,
Right.
but it doesn't help when, like, you're being targeted all left and right. And I'm not for making people the victim, for sure,
Right.
but I'm not saying that it's definitely weighted. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
there are traps out there, like there are food deserts out there. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like
Oh,
that's a thing, for
absolutely. Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, Another thing I was thinking about, there's this that you reminded me of, is like this negative feedback loop that's going
Mm-hmm.
on, where I was in Union Square. It was a Black Friday, right? So we went, my girl and I, we went to a concert in the Dog Patch or whatever. So we got a nice hotel at Union Square, and then the next day we went for a walk. And dude, everything was boarded up. All these nice
Yeah.
Chanel, Gucci, downtown San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco, the nicest, nice of the nice,
Yep.
all boarded up and looking like the freaking hood, looking like the ghetto. And I'm like tripping out, because the root cause of that is that these things are so expensive that people want to go rob their place. And it's kind of like, I'm thinking of it like, this is the reason why that they're boarded up, is because they just fuel this fiat system
Yep.
of hate and just like negativity. It's just negative energy, man.
Yeah. For sure.
Dude, I'm not that like woo woo, but I do believe in like that famous Maya Angelou quote, where she's like, "Yo, people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." And
Right.
that's something that I just want to project, is like, hey, man, I just want to make people feel good, because
Yeah.
really, that's how I would want, when I meet somebody, like, hey, I remember that guy was cool guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. Yep. No, 100%, man. Yeah, it's getting to be a crazy society, and I definitely think the ways that we've historically tried to fix things haven't worked. So why do we think that repeating those things would work? So for example, the political system. I think that the political system is much like um, racism or any other crazy things that divide people. It's just a control mechanism. When you actually look behind the scenes, these parties are funded by the same things, and it really boils down to money. Money fuels all this stuff, and when we one of the ways to control people is keep them divided. Like that guy's brown, that guy's white. There's a difference there. So therefore, we're gonna put these people at odds with one another. That guy's a Republican, that guy's a Democrat. They don't like each other. But in actuality, the deep down within the souls of humans, we have a lot more in common. We all want the things we've just talked about. We want purpose and hope and love, and we want to connections with other people, and we want to be able to spend time with our families, and we want, those are the things that will bring us joy in our lives. And yet we buy into this stupid FUD, this whole fear, uncertainty, doubt, division, all these insane things that are used to control us. And I think that it stems back to, the money. The world really is controlled by very few people when you trace it back far enough. And my friend used to say, "Oh, the most powerful person in the world is the Federal Reserve Chair." And I don't know if I buy that exactly, because I think he's a bit of a puppet too, but definitely the banks, the central banks. And I think that's the target. That's what we really need to focus on, and not so much the political system. Because if there's, like I said, if there's one thing we've seen, that the political system hasn't fixed what ails us, no matter what political party's in charge, especially the last 20 plus years, it seems like we're still going the wrong direction. And it's evidenced by what we talked about earlier, with what you're seeing in Union Square, what I see down here, which when I used to come down from Canada and visit my family that lived here, we could ride our bikes around, and like there was no homelessness. No, this was an amazing city, not anymore,
Yeah, apprentices in my program can't afford to get to work. Like
Wow.
I live in San Jose, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of the most, I think it is the most expensive place in the United States.
Yeah, I think so.
And gas prices are like six something a gallon, five something a gallon. It's expensive. I have the luxury that my job site is literally 5 minutes away. It's a
Nice.
30-minute walk. So thank God I don't have to spend on gas.
Yeah.
Also, my dad has what I call proof of stake. So he bought real estate here in the
Mm,
Bay Area. So thank
nice.
God, right? So I
Yeah,
got that leverage, and I understand that not everybody has that, and it's
for sure.
crazy because there's a lot of people that just don't fucking see that.
Right.
Earlier, I was showing you my notes, and the number one thing on top is perspective, where
Mm,
it's like, look at
mm-hmm.
people look, and they're so quick to judge about other people, and it's like,
Yep,
dude, chill out, man, because that guy might be going through something that you have no idea
for
what's
sure.
going on. You don't know what that guy's perspective is. You're like, well, why did he spend his money on that, or why did he
Mm-hmm.
do that? It's like, dude,
Yep.
don't worry about that. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah,
You know what
no
I mean?
kidding.
And it's crazy
Yeah.
that a lot of people just are, and it's sad. I think it's definitely a long game that the system is playing
Mm-hmm.
on our just families and generation, where it's like
Yep.
they're pitting the old against the new.
Mm-hmm.
And like, my father's generation, my father's 73, and he just hates Bitcoin because he's a real estate guy,
Yeah.
right? And he's just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, Dad, you guys lived through some of the greatest times in history, like
Yep.
period, point
Yep.
blank.
Period.
You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like it was the most advanced. Like you guys, and not even to mention, like, and I understand that he doesn't understand this, that like you guys borrowed money on the future.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how the system was manipulated to create these great times, and now
Yep.
the bill is coming due, and we're paying for it. I'm in my late
Mm-hmm.
30s.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's coming. It's the cows are coming home, dude. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
we got to pay for this stuff now. Like, what's going on? And a lot of the older people are like, these kids, they're no good now. And like, I see it all through, and it's like, dude, the guys can't even afford to get to work. How do
Yeah.
you
That's
expect
crazy.
them to save when it
Yeah.
costs them to get to work?
Yeah. We
Crazy.
um we have that conversation here at our local meetup periodically about how much longer until that debt that you just discussed comes due. And it seems like the majority of the folks at my local meetup um are saying like, oh, we can kick the can down the road, a lot longer. And I'm kind of going, okay, what'll be the catalysts that actually make that, come due? Because it seems like as long as we the banks and the government have the ability to just create more money out of thin air, they will try to kick the can down the road. So, what
But
are
they
your
don't
thoughts?
have the ability. It's just on
Right.
fucking
Yeah, yeah.
paper.
Yeah. So what do you think
Sorry.
will be the when and what will be the cause of that can kicking to cease? Like what will
I
be
look, man, I'm a construction worker. I
yeah,
don't know like the whole, I got a good vibe, but I'm not that
right.
guy to ask. Now,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I could tell you
Uh-huh.
is that like being a construction worker, I know that 1 inch is 1 inch,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that 100 millimeters is 100 millimeters, no
Yes.
matter how what I wish for it to be.
Right.
Like I have to abide by the laws of physics.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And finance, they make their laws. They don't make a, oh, well, this doesn't matter. We're just gonna do quantitative easy. We're gonna figure out whatever, dude. You're
Yeah,
too
yeah.
stupid to understand it, guy. You're too stupid, pleb. But right? It's like, no, no. Well,
Right.
energy is energy is energy. You can either
Right.
create or destroy energy. It's a fucking law of thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Like I am bound by these laws.
Yeah.
That's what I know as a construction worker.
Do
Now,
you
what these fucking finance people fucking want to do some mental gymnastics and make shit
Yeah.
up in their mind, go ahead, bro. See how that's gonna
Well,
fucking work out for you.
I think you nailed it because that's what it seems like is happening. I agree with you 100%. I mean, there are laws and no matter what your whole faith and belief system is on how we all got here, blah blah blah, it's still you'd have to be stupid and not look around and go, "Hey, there's gravity. When I throw this rock up in the air, it's going to come down and hit me in the head." So everything is about principles and rules. But right now, it seems like those financial folks you're talking about and our people that are governing us, they're trying to make pull shit out of thin air. They're trying to bend the rules. They're trying to make that 1 inch thing rubber so
They're
that you
growing an
can
inch.
stretch
They're
it.
growing an
And
inch.
yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? We're redefining words and making them mean like we don't even know what a woman is. We don't know what a fucking recession is. We don't and it's because they're changing the rules and they can't. The rules are still the
Yeah.
rules, even if they change. So guess what, guys? The chickens are going to come home to roost. This bill will have to be paid. And my theory, and I've heard a lot of other Bitcoiners saying this too, is other countries in the world are going to get fed up with us just continually hitting the print button on the printer, and they're
Well, look
not
what Russia's doing.
exactly. I
They're
think that
done,
might be a
dude.
catalyst right
They're on
there.
their
Yeah,
own shit. China's on their own shit.
yeah.
Listen, it's just game theory, right?
You
Like,
don't
come
give
on, dude.
yourself enough credit. You're just saying, "Oh, I'm just a construction worker," but you're a smart dude, and you're saying the same thing. Like, look what Russia's doing. If Russia colludes with India and China and says, "F you, US, we're not gonna play by your games anymore. We're not gonna use the US dollar to do our oil trading in," and they're already starting to do that, like you said. So we're gonna get stuck with that because the only reason we can really get away with hitting that print button over and over and over, and now we're in the trillions. I mean, the last that those TARP bills back in '08, we didn't hit a trillion. We were still in the billions at that point, like this is getting insane. In order for us to print ourselves out of the next round of debts, it's a spiral where these things have to get bigger and bigger and bigger
It's
and bigger.
accounting. It's
It's
accounting, right?
insanity,
It's
man.
input, output,
Yeah,
input, output.
right.
There are way more
Yep,
outputs than
yep,
there are inputs. It's simple
exactly.
as that.
Well, that's
Like
one of the
it's
things they're
filling a bucket with water.
yep. It's
You
one of the
know,
things they're trying to redefine is like, oh, well, accounting was, hey, we're trying to make all these numbers mesh. Well, they've just blown accounting up. Accounting doesn't even really mean anything anymore when they can just print the problems away. We're going to just, if you get enough paper on it, the problem will go away. And that's not how accounting works. And that's not how this principle works. And it's not how it's going to
well,
end.
that's why that CFO jumped off that building the other day,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
I know. I was,
Because that's not how accounting works.
yeah.
Probably, he was probably in on something
Yeah.
nefarious. I mean, R.I.P. Man, that sucks. You had to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. For sure.
Come on, dude. Is it really that bad? I mean, like, going like the way I describe Bitcoin to new people is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, Satoshi Nakamoto took physics and it took a finance and it freaking melded them together,
Yeah.
where you can't fudge the numbers because of the
Mm-hmm.
physics,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and vice versa, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like this is just new shit. I mean, it was a discovery, right? It was
Yeah.
just a compilation of shit that already existed,
Right.
and it's like, hey, what if we jigger it this way, and bam, oh, dude, look what it's doing. And it's you talked earlier about like Bitcoin sort of being like a mycelium type
Yeah.
thing, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
I totally believe that. I have a Brandon Quittem joke where it's like, dude, he didn't do enough. He didn't do
Yeah.
enough because it has changed me as a person. It really has changed me as
Yeah.
a person. It really there's scientific studies when that psilocybin makes new pathways
Yep.
in your brain.
Yep.
What if Bitcoin meets new pathways like in real life, not just
Right.
your brain, but like
Yeah.
as humans,
Right.
and you make new friends and
Yes.
we go back to like when you ask like who are you? I'm like, dude, I'm just another node. I am
Yeah.
just that social lubricant
Right.
in the Bitcoin network. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's like, hey, you should talk to this guy because you
Mm-hmm.
guys know, whatever. That could change the world. And
Yeah.
when I
It
go
will.
back to like bleeding edge stuff, Bitcoin is the first time that time like is actually like it was written.
Yeah.
Like ever since before Bitcoin, yeah, there was stuff out there, but you could just go back and rewrite history. Like
Right.
now
Yeah.
it is actually written, and that's the it's truth. It's basically
Mm-hmm.
truth.
Right.
So you can build on top of foundation of truth now. And I see it sort of like a bat signal, like like I work with a bunch of different trades. Like right now we're working on it technically, I guess, including the basements, is 24 stories,
Oh wow.
right? It's a huge freaking building. Like you think about like all these different trades working together, like a bunch of different ants. And
Yeah.
then there's managers that control that, and there's higher ups.
Yep.
So Bitcoin is kind of like the like managing department. The way I'm looking at it, right? Where it's like, and I'm talking about in the world,
Yeah.
where you can look at the Bitcoin price and it's not it's like a baseline
Mm-hmm.
to the economy. It's the first free market that you can actually judge what's going on. Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's like, Bitcoin price is down. Probably not good for everybody in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, it's like a bat signal. Is something that I would like to call it, kind of like where you could see, you could base your actions on this price,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Man, there was a lot there too. I'm gonna have to take better notes, but because I wanted to say about 14 things. And I'm
Sorry,
always thinking of
I'm
the
so
last thing you
scatterbrained.
just said. No, no, no. So now I'm like all fixated on price because one of the things that I really wanted to, I don't know, I get hung up on terminology. Um uh because you were talking about the whole time thing and the truth, and I think time stamping is one of the things. If you go back far enough, I think Satoshi may have even had some verbiage about this. If not, it was just after him about calling like even Bitcoin mining like time stamping instead of Bitcoin mining, because the whole thing confused me initially, even when I was learning about
Yeah,
Bitcoin, back in the day. So that was a term that I was having an issue with. Bitcoin price, I struggle with that too because I think it's a signal of a lot of different things. It's a signal of um, I think it's a bit of a canary in the coal mine as far as macro goes. Like, okay, how's everything doing? We'll look at Bitcoin because it's like an instantaneous um,
yeah.
application.
There's
So it
definitely
happens in
nuance.
real time. Yeah, yeah. So
There's
if
definitely
everybody's
nuance.
freaked out and whatever else, then Bitcoin price starts crashing and blah blah blah. Then it's like, oh shit! Like put on your seatbelt because we're probably in for a rough time. But like lately, it's almost been more of a it looks like people are running to American dollars, like around the world. Like that's what it looks like to me, and it's reflected in a Bitcoin price. I don't even like the term Bitcoin price because I really can see past when, I think there'll be another printing coming on. Either the US will try to bail out
For sure,
one of
for
the
sure.
countries in Europe or Japan or whoever fails next, or it won't be able to pay off its debts. Like, I mean, the bond market, if you listen to Greg Foss, we talked to him on this podcast a few weeks back, and I mean, there is so many things going on in the bond market, the government even being able to finance itself, even being able to pay for its debt. I mean, there are so many
Well,
things that are this close to breaking that it's like, holy shit. Like, it's really, and they're saying, oh, he's a fearmonger and blah, blah, blah. No, bullshit. This is facts, man. This is cold, hard facts. This is what is happening in our world, in our country right now. And the only solution is print more money. Because right now, I mean, oh, we're going to fight inflation. We're going to raise interest rates. Well, you're
Uh,
just a bull in a trap. You're wrecking things so that you can come in later on and be the savior and hit the print button again. Like, come on, man. You're, we're, we're fucked. Either way, you just get to pick which way you fuck us. Like, you want to be shot to death or do you want to be stabbed to death? And they picked stabbing this time. But guess what? You're going to shoot us later when you hit the printer again. Because we have all these zombie companies that can't even. They were only alive because they had access to free money basically when rates were like
yep.
zero. Those and this is going to have an avalanche effect, not just a butterfly effect down. This is going to have an avalanche effect and just fucking smoke all sorts of people below it, because it's going to be like, well, he works for them and they went out of business, and it's going to be an avalanche effect. And their only option after they ruin everything because of the rate hikes, which, I mean, they don't have a choice. We were just fucked. Is, oh, we're going to print money again. So it's just like they're trying to do whatever they can to push the problem as far down the road as possible. But like you said earlier, they're fucked, and this bill will be paid.
Input, output, man. It's
Yes,
not
yes,
that
yes.
hard. If
Right.
the hole in the bucket is bigger than how much,
Yep. Yep.
water you're putting in the bucket,
Yep.
you're never gonna fill the bucket.
We don't
And it
have enough
doesn't take
fucking
a
flex seal
genius.
to, yeah, exactly, to cover that hole.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's all this stuff is just a fog, man. This is
Yep.
where the laser eyes come in. This
Uh-huh.
is where I my girl, I've been with her for a while. She's in finance.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because it's like, classically trained finance.
Mm-hmm.
Tell her about the Bitcoin thing. She's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And now she's seeing it. I'm like, dude, all it is math. I'm
Right.
playing by your rules.
Yes. Yes.
Like, so
Yep.
we're going back to you're coupling finance with physics.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fudding that. There's
Yep.
no, you can't, and
Yeah.
even you don't need to know nothing about finance. You need to know nothing about physics. Like I said, if the hole
Right.
is bigger in the bucket than
Mm-hmm.
how much water, whatever's coming out, it's more than what's going in.
Yep.
You're gonna know.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff, these zombie companies that you speak of, like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I'm in a union, dude. We're in a 60, what is it, 60-40 coffin or whatever. What do
Oh,
I
yeah.
call it? Like, we have to buy bonds,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
Yep.
listening to Greg Foss. I'm just like, oh my God, what's going on?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was listening to one of your podcasts earlier with this other finance guy. I think it was the last one, and
Oh,
he
okay.
said he's like, "Hey, the money takes the fall, not the
Right.
government.
Yeah.
It's the fiat that takes the
Right.
fall." They're like, "Oh, well, the fiat, we must this." Like, dude, it's ridiculous, dude. I listen
Yeah.
to a lot of Thomas Sowell.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to Thomas Sowell and Basic Economics.
Mm-hmm.
Basic Economics. That book from Thomas Sowell.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot, man.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really put things into perspective for me because
Yeah.
it's just really common sense. It's not
Uh-huh.
all these fancy, mirrors and bells and whistles and stuff. It's like, no, it's basic economics, man.
Yeah.
The bonds, dude, that gets me a lot because preaching to my coworkers, and they're like, oh, dude, bonds are safe. They're not
Oh.
volatile. And I'm like, but the math,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yep.
yielding negative.
Right.
So we're literally shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Very interesting, right? Where it's like an
It is.
obvious, we're literally shooting ourselves in the foot. Why
Yeah.
are we doing this still?
No, you're so
Who's
right,
making
man.
money?
Like,
Who's making the money, right?
yeah.
It's a huge voting block.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? We're all voting Democrat because we're in California. Like, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's this money going?
Yeah. My dad was a college professor, and he taught business and everything else. And he always was saying things like, the stock market. He didn't say this quote directly, but he alluded to the stock market being healthy and surging was a indication of a healthy, strong economy, And he would say, like, places like Amazon and Walmart are examples of how great capitalism is. And I'm not trashing capitalism, and I'm not trashing any of that, but what my thinking has changed a lot in the last few years, which is, you talked about bonds. You talked about, your union, and basically, a lot of those are like you can pick this fund, or this fund, and most of them are bond heavy and whatever. And so once you pick, it's just then you just close your eyes. Well, uh, until the 401k plan was actually introduced and a lot of the really good pensions were done away with, and it's happened in government, it's happened in the private sector, most people, like less than 50% of people, were even invested in the stock market. Now that number is above 50%, but it's only because they had to do it through their 401k plan. And the vast majority of those don't have a fucking clue what the money people are investing their money in. The government has a fund or a thing called the TSP plan, which is like a thrift savings plan or something like that. It's like one of their retirement plans. They're all bond heavy. It's like you talked about. What they don't realize is that, as Greg says, down the road, um, your purchasing power is going to be just hammered into the dirt. Yeah, so what? So you put $100 in, you're going to get your 103 back out, but $100 in 20 years is only going to buy you,
Yeah, they don't calculate the
$49
fucking
worth of shit.
inflation.
So
They
yeah,
don't calculate the
exactly.
fucking inflation,
And
dude.
they're not putting the next print into the equation, which I really think is going to happen. I really think is going to be probably one of the catalysts that
Oh, for
sets
sure.
Bitcoin off on
For
a
sure it's
trajectory for
gonna
the
fucking
moon too,
happen.
because it's going to force people to go, fuck, we need to do something else. It's going to force them to seek out something, and traditionally that something's been gold, but now that we have found an asset that makes gold look like ass wipe, um, people will find it. Already the smartest people are in this space. They're called Bitcoiners, which is another term I have an issue with because I just want people that use Bitcoin to be called people. But I'll call them the early Bitcoin adopters because they were the ones who were smart enough to really wrap their heads around what this means for humanity going forward. They were the ones smart enough to wrap their heads around and go, holy shit, that makes fucking sense. Holy shit. This, like, because there's all this FUD. Oh, what if this happens and this and blah, blah, blah. But then you're going, holy crap, all of this shit checks out on the layer we talked about, which is the technology. It's all sound. It's all like what? So we can all access, and it's just a ledger, and it's open source, and so and it's just, it's just like this whole light bulb clicks
Well,
on.
well, my
Go
joke
ahead.
is my joke is we're going back to the classic internet.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Right.
no,
Yep.
classic internet. Like, run your own stuff, run your own server.
Yeah.
Like with these nodes, it's like
Mm-hmm.
this is exactly what how I got. And I'm not that old, but I'm saying the OGs,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, just run your own stuff.
Yeah.
Don't trust nobody.
Right.
Classic internet.
Yeah.
Like, so it's funny because then the cloud came and all this marketing. Oh, put your stuff in the cloud. It's like, dude, it's just somebody else's server.
Yep.
That was the OG joke, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
the cloud is just somebody else's server. It's not
Right.
this is not a thing.
Yes.
There is
Yes.
no
Yes. Yes.
cloud that you
Right.
put your, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny to me.
I
Like
like it.
it's this circle that I'm like, okay, well, we're going back to
Yep.
the original internet.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because, and this goes back to what you were saying about how you talk about Bitcoin to newbies, people that haven't really heard much about it, and I think it really depends who you're talking to as well, because it's super complex and yet it's super simple. It's just kind of like a giant ledger, in the sky, like you say, on the cloud, but it's not because you verify it. You verify every transaction. I do. I'm part of it, so it's super simple, and yet it is backed by technology, bulletproof technology that is backed by a network of computers that is bar none the largest, a network of minds now, and a network of people like you and I who run nodes and verify everything, and we get
Defend
to,
the network. Defend
yeah,
the
yeah,
network.
exactly, your business. So to me, it's we just need to grow the people part of it. Let's just grow the human network, and that's what I really want to focus on. And so um so it
So
goes
what do you
back to
see?
another term, actually.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, okay. I was just always like, oh, orange pilling people and jamming orange pills. I kind of want to make the, because I think people look outside of the whole Bitcoin community, people look at us as a cult or some weirdo sometimes. And I think maybe we need to soften some of those edges instead of like jamming orange pills down people's throats. Let's just speak
Yeah.
like
Is there
normally and just be like, hey, we're gonna just,
is there a
I'll talk to you
supposit
about Bitcoin or not. Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
there
The
a suppository
suppository.
joke somewhere
Yeah.
here? Like that?
No, no, no. No, I was just I'm just trying to think about things that because my girlfriend is not really, she owns Bitcoin and stuff, but she's not convicted like I am. And so she was, she's turned off by a lot of these things where it just seems like it's like I said, I even said Bitcoiner, and then and orange pilled, and she didn't like the whole have fun staying poor meme, and she didn't, and she's just it's because she's like, well, it's kind of like a fuck you if you don't,
Well,
and I get it, and that's the thing about me too. Like I'm open to everybody's thing, but I want to keep these conversations going because my goal isn't to be right. I could give a fuck. I want the truth, and I want more people to see the life raft. I want more people to say, hey, guys, this is the future. If we go on the way we're going on, we're going to destroy humanity, and we're going to keep going down a path where more and more and more people will be unhappy, more and more people will be poor. We're literally starving people when we don't need to be because we have resources. So I just I care, I want this network to grow. I want more and more people in the network. So I want to have these conversations with whoever we can to just keep bringing more and more people together. And I want us to exchange ideas so we can iron out any issues or make things easier for people to just say, no, the Bitcoin community wants to welcome everyone with open arms. We don't give a shit what you think. We just want to welcome you in because, like you said, I think this will change people anyway. Because like you said, it's changed us. It's like given us time to just sit back and go, holy shit, what is this whole thing all about? Like, what do I want to do with my value when I'm gone? And so you're thinking way the hell down the road, and it's really just opening up your eyes to like, where's my faith? Where do I think humanity will be in a million years? Where do I, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I steamrolled you right there. So
no, no, no. It's what you believe in. Toxic maximal.
yeah, that's another subject.
I consider I mean, this is kind of what I'm getting at this
Yeah,
whole, just to put it in this big bubble, right? This
right.
Venn diagram of
Yeah, yeah,
what's going on. I consider myself a toxic maximalist.
sure.
Okay. What does that mean for me? For me, it means dying on this hill
Yeah.
in the sense that my my life experiences, like I wasn't, I'm first generation here in this country.
Oh, wow.
My father ran away from home. He literally was a minor,
Oh, wow.
literally
Yeah.
like slave child labor in Mexico.
Wow.
It's right across the border. You know
Man.
what I mean? They make
Yeah.
it seem like it's far away, but it's right there. He ran away when he was 17, came to America. The American dream happened,
Yeah.
right? So I saw the hard work. I saw the, just nose to the grindstone. Fuck what everybody says.
Yeah.
Fuck the haters. Just keep working. Proof of work. That's America.
Oh, yeah.
Proof of fucking work,
Yeah.
right?
I
Like,
love it.
make it happen. Don't worry about what the fucking next guy's doing. Don't worry about these
Yeah.
other. If they're not fucking with you, like you shouldn't be fucking with anybody
Yep.
else's grind.
Mutual
And
respect.
anybody shouldn't be fucking. And I don't care what your opinions are. Your
Yep.
opinions are your opinions. Those don't fucking hurt me.
Yeah.
If you fucking come and fuck with my family or my people, then we might have issues.
Yeah.
But anyways, on that, yeah, running with that, it's like he taught me hard work.
Yeah.
Taught me like, hey, these cars, they're just, what do you need a car for? Like, go to work. That's what you need a car. You need a truck to go to work, right? Like that kind of stuff. Like you don't need these fancy things and this and that. So I saw, and he obviously didn't have the avenues of like he couldn't go get a just normal job,
Yeah.
right? Like first he got to get his fucking green card, and
Mm-hmm.
he fought 7 years just to get his fucking American citizenship. So
Wow.
I saw all these struggles, right? And me, like compared to that, I'm spoiled. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm here in the Silicon Valley. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well now I'm like here in like some of the best schools in the nation,
Sweet. Yeah.
right? Right, where it's like, fuck, man, and it's like, what's my excuse?
Yeah.
You start thinking like, what's my excuse? Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do what my dad did? Why can't I get that American dream? Well, it's because I'm already here, and
Yeah.
I didn't understand that the time is different and the game has changed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And all these other people, like, I mean, yeah, I definitely got a head start by being here in the Silicon Valley, but man, it's fucking crazy, dude. So I remember the time where I started having to have Microsoft Word. That's a key point in my memory where it's
Oh
like
yeah.
now you need to have Microsoft Word in order for you to do essays, and it has to be typed.
Right.
I'm just like, dude, I don't have a fucking computer. Like, what are you talking? You know what I mean? Like how like
Yeah.
I got to go to the library now. It's a fucking
Hmm.
whole ordeal, and I fucking hated computers. I
Yeah.
fucking hated them because it's just like this is not fair. You know what I mean? Like as a
Uh-huh.
kid, you're just like, dude, my parents don't know shit about computers. And it's just kind of like you're born and raised in the Silicon Valley, so you kind of like get a sense. Your buddies have them, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, what's going on, right? Like, hey, can I come over to your house so I can do my homework? And obviously, it's great to have good friends that have computers,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until fuck, dude, I was like 20 something, man. Like I was clear out of high school and I come from a motorsports background, so
Oh,
like
okay.
I wrenched on cars. I
Sweet.
had a bunch of muscle cars and fucking wrenched on motorbikes, race bikes and stuff. So my buddy, he was like, dude, this is just like a car or like a motorcycle, the
Hmm.
computer, right? Where it's like you can just upgrade this part and it's like supercharging it. Or
Yeah.
you put this part and you get more memory. Put
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
part and you get more RAM. And I'm like, well, once he explained it like that, and then he taught me about the software where it's like, yeah, Microsoft, fuck Microsoft. Go run Ubuntu. Go run Ubuntu and this and that. And once he gave me the building blocks. He
Yeah.
literally gave me a computer in a box. He's like, if you can rebuild a motor, you can rebuild this fucking computer, right? And he
Yeah.
just literally threw it at me. I built it. I only got the reset and the power switched. That was the only thing I got wrong. So he's like, yeah, he's all classic, classic move. He's like,
Mm,
yeah, everybody does this. Bam, right? And it's just started working. I'm like, holy fuck, I did it.
nice.
Right. But it was the software part that I was missing, the
Yeah.
free and open source software.
Yeah.
That's the fucking key part, man, because
Yeah.
it's an equalizer. Yeah, I got given a computer. That was luck, but a phone is a computer now, right? So some of the most interesting stuff that's going on, and I'm sorry, dude, I'm going on this
No,
rant. I
no,
forgot
just
what the
just
original
just
question
roll,
was.
man. No,
I
no.
forgot what the original
You're good.
question was,
Yeah.
but it's it's
No,
it's
no.
it's like it's the free and open source software. That's why I'm part of this community
Yeah.
because I could probably help somebody across the world, man.
Hmm.
Like I'm just trying to leave this earth better than what the fuck I
Yeah.
came in. Like,
Dude, that's
and,
awesome.
and this is really something that you can do that. And I'm
Oh
just a
yeah.
normal. I'm an average Joe construction worker.
Yeah.
So if I could do it, that's kind of the thing where it's like, dude, I'm just a guy. I'm just
Yeah.
a node. You can do it too.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it, man. And that's
Yeah.
one thing where it's like that's what's so powerful about
Yes.
Bitcoin. And
No,
I don't think
100%.
that is priced in, dude.
You don't give yourself enough credit though. You're
Nah,
just as
I'm
just
just
as
a guy,
important as
dude.
Michael Saylor. You're like
But
we're
he's
all
just
the
a guy
same here.
too.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
my
We're all
point.
just
He's just a
people. Yes,
guy.
yes, yes, yes. I love that. So I think one of the starting points of your talk right there was Bitcoin maximalism, which is another thing that I've been
That's
struggling
what it
with.
was.
Yeah, and I
Right.
think you did it well because or you stated it well because you said my definition of, and I think that's the key. And I think when it just becomes a label and it gets defined by and accepted as a derogatory term about like this guy's an asshole and he's mean to everybody and blah 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 blah. I don't like that whole connotation. But as far as maximal in the sense of uh Bitcoin is the only form of cryptocurrency that I can see that actually has all the properties to actually be money and has a use case and has security and is decentralized. Like, as far as that all goes, I am 100% a Bitcoin maximalist. As far as toxic goes, I would say, depending on what other people define toxicity as, it is like you said. For me, it means dying on this hill. Like if somebody tries to attack our network, f them up. Like it's kind of like you were talking about like if you got a problem with
Defend the
me, yeah,
network.
yeah, yeah.
Defend the
So
network.
yeah, in that sense, if you want to use that word to define, that action with me, one of the things I want to eliminate from myself because I have been and can be, a bit of a dick, to people. I struggle with Peter
No wonder
Schiff.
we get along.
Yeah, because I just want to talk shit to him all the time, but it doesn't do any good. I think I just do it for cathartic reasons for myself and also to just be funny. But I still shit talk him once in a while on his stupid ass posts. But
I have a question.
yeah, yeah.
Do you believe in a road to redemption?
Yeah, oh yeah, for
So if
sure.
Peter Schiff say, "Hey, I fucked up
Oh yeah,
tomorrow,"
yeah. No,
no,
absolutely.
me too, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
So part of being a toxic maximalist for me,
yeah,
I believe in erotic redemption, and
yeah.
it's more of a bullying thing.
Right,
Like I understand if you're not knowledgeable on
right.
why. So I'm not going to be like I'm a toxic maximalist. Is I'm going to talk your ear off at that point,
Yeah,
right? I'm
yeah,
going to try my best to help you out.
yeah.
When I can be in a fucking dude, I'm a construction worker, my guy. I freaking make grown men
Yeah,
cry. Like
yeah,
all
yeah.
we do is shit talk.
Oh yeah.
I was raised in a family that was basically a roast battle. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
so when to me it's more of a bullying thing.
Yeah, yeah.
When people anybody, I don't care who you are, I don't care
Hmm.
what you're talking about. If you start trying to bully somebody else,
Hmm. That's not
that's not a
cool.
good
Yeah.
vibe, bro. That's just
Yeah.
not a good vibe. No matter where you are, dude, who
Yeah,
you
for
are, you could
sure.
be a Bitcoiner too. Like, hey, bro, like sometimes I have to deal with that at the meetups where the guys, some people will be like, oh, well, that's a shit coin. But I was like, hey,
Hmm.
well, he might not understand.
Right.
So don't just come at him all fucking crazy.
Hmm.
Educate him a little bit, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't just fucking chop his fucking head off.
I've been on both sides of that. I've been the guy going, "Oh, you shitcoiner," but I like you said, I'm trying to take things with a little bit more of a mutual respect kind of
Well, there's
thing. And
intention though too,
yeah, yeah,
right?
and
So
you
some
can
people are just
also,
confused. Some
yeah,
people are
right.
fucking shilling, right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
like, come
yes.
on, dude.
Yep. And you can tell someone to fuck off in a respectful way too, without even using the words fuck off, but you can say it
Correct.
without saying it, you know. And I think even the shitcoin thing was tough for me because I was kind of at a point where I'm like, well, it's cool to shitcoin for those people that want to do it, you know, after I got out. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense if they want to roll those over into Bitcoin later. And then more recently, you know, probably within the last year or so, I became super convicted that those were horrible because that value is extracted from somewhere. And somebody somewhere is being hurt because their
Yep.
value is being stolen away from them. So they are a fucking fraud, and you are a fucking fraudster if you go out and mess with any shit coins. So I've changed my tune completely from like, oh yeah, you can go play the shitcoin casino, but you know, you're gonna get caught with your pants down, to even if you're a fucking winner in that shitcoin casino, you're a fucking asshole because you took money from some naive
Well,
person that
it
probably shouldn't be in here in the first place, but it came from somewhere. It didn't just it's not coming from the printer,
it's
you
not
know.
a win-win. If
No,
you're
it's
in
not.
Bitcoin, it's a win-win-win,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Like if you
Yes.
really understand it, you're really just providing like
Right.
the rising tide,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah,
All
we're
these
opting out of the current fiscal fiat shitty system and we're opting that value into a different system. They're stealing from people and pulling the rug. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you
no,
there,
no,
but
no,
I
no. Sorry,
100% agree.
I am an interrupter, dude. So don't. I'm not. I just blah, 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 I just
Yeah.
talk all the time.
Well,
So
me
like
too.
that's why we get along. We're
All
assholes.
right.
Right?
Yeah, man.
That's what society would deem like. Oh, you're an asshole. He interrupts. No, no, it's just, we're passionate people about
Yes,
we're
for
talking
sure.
about what we
Yeah,
love, man.
we
Like this is
indeed.
literally
Yes.
I'm betting my life on this,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
100%,
Like not
man.
just my life, but my kid,
Yep.
my girl. Like, come on, dude.
Yep.
Like this is something I really fucking believe, and that's what
Yeah.
like defend the network. We
Yes.
will die on this hill. Like
Absolutely.
it's a value system. Like people were like, oh man, this Bitcoin thing. It's kind of like you're in a fucking cult. No, it's kind of like this
Yep.
religion. I was like,
Yep.
well, is math a religion? Is math a fucking cult?
Right. Yeah.
Answer me that. What do you think? Is math a
Yeah.
cult? Because it's fucking math, right?
Right.
Like
It's just
everybody
math.
agrees on it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks about it. Everybody
Right.
is like, oh, maybe I can make a new mathematical equation.
Right.
Like, equate it that way, right? Where it's like, no, maybe it's just like I said, maybe it's just the truth.
Right.
And you don't know what this is, and you're just calling it a fucking religion. You're just calling it a cult, but maybe it's just the base layer for humanity,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, that
Oh,
we're tapping into right now, and we might have some sort of collective hive mind of sorts,
yeah. No,
right? Like
for
you're
sure.
going back to the mycelium, like maybe with this just this base layer that connects humans, and
Yeah.
we can, we could finally like trade value,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
it's
go
simple
ahead.
and yet complex
Complex,
all at the
yeah,
same
for
time.
sure.
Yeah. So,
No,
no.
pick going back to Bitcoin maximalism. It's
Yeah.
like so network effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that's something that really blows my mind, and I think a lot of people don't. put a lot of time into thinking about the network effect, where
Hmm.
it's like the biggest network has the farthest reach, which
Right.
Bitcoin is the proof of work time chain that
Hmm.
has the most energy ever in
Love it.
history
Yep.
inputted into it. And you think your fucking shitcoin is gonna somehow fucking catch up and like the
Yeah.
physics of it blows my mind
Oh yeah.
in my little pea head
I love
brain, you
what
know.
how you stated the whole thing of Bitcoin. And um I mean, I haven't gone super deep with a lot of shit coins because when you find the first five reasons to disqualify them, you might as well just throw the towel in right then. So I still have yet, I mean, even comparing them, they all shit coins compare more readily with the current fiat system
I'd
than they
rather
do
use a
Bitcoin.
spreadsheet. I'd rather
Yeah,
use a spreadsheet. What the fuck am I using your shitcoin?
yeah. No, exactly. It's like they're, centralized, the questionable about supply, they're questionable about security. Like, I mean, there's the list goes on and on and on, and really have so much more to do, with the current system that's completely fucked. So it just blows my mind. The only like I even struggle with use case because sometimes people will try to push it for a use case, and almost all the time, Bitcoin can fulfill that use case. The only use case that I see maybe a need for in the short term is one that I don't see a shitcoin or product that actually will work for that, which is, people in third world countries or countries where there's issues with their money or whatever else, where or they make very little money, where volatility, where these swings will impact them, a lot harder
So you're
than.
talking about like Taro and shit like that, or what?
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about. I see the use case is all I have to say. I can't defend any of that shit. I just
Mm-hmm.
see like, okay, yeah, that's a good use case, but I don't see a solution for that. You've identified a problem, but I don't see a solution. The use case being volatility. So for somebody that's making 30 cents in a day or $5 in a day, and they throw it all into Bitcoin or whatever else, if there's a swing that day, that's gonna have a great, if it tanks a little bit that day, they're gonna get impacted greatly. Like it's gonna impact what they have for dinner that night. So that's a use case I see,
I
but
don't
there's
think you
nothing
would.
that fulfills that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
well, in scenarios like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got some friends in Africa, in
Yeah.
Tanzania,
Mm-hmm.
and I've shot them some sats. It's like
Yeah.
literally I just walk them through. Hey, open this Moon wallet.
Nice.
Let me send you some money. Right,
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
them some money. They're kind of just like, holy shit, you know. For me, like when I was
Yeah.
over there, I got my bank accounts locked. Dude, it was an ordeal,
You
man.
went over to Africa?
Yeah, it was years ago,
Oh,
years ago.
nice.
But
Okay.
it was actually before I got into Bitcoin. So it
Oh,
kind of
wow.
got me primed because
Yeah.
they were using M-Pesa. This is back in like 2013,
I
2014.
don't even know what M-Pesa is.
M-Pesa is cell phone minutes. So think about Verizon.
Oh,
Think
okay.
about Verizon, right? So you and I got Verizon. The
Yeah.
freaking liquor store at the corners got Verizon.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have, we'll just say it's $1 a minute, right?
Yeah.
So you got 30 minutes or whatever, but you don't have any cash and you want to get a $5 beer. So you
Oh,
go to the
okay.
liquor store, you give them 5 minutes, say, hey,
Oh,
liquor
so
store
it's like a
guy.
prison system almost. It's like
Well, no,
stamps or cigarettes.
it's just like Bitcoin already. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just
It's
another
just a
ledger.
means to
Yeah,
exchange
it's just a
value.
ledger
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's actually legit. Like
Right.
the cell phone companies came up with it over there.
Oh,
And
okay.
to me, I was just like, wow,
Huh.
this is great. Why don't
Yeah.
Americans have this? Right? Like, so when I came back, months later, I learned about Bitcoin, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is just like that over
Hmm.
there. So it's funny how the Africans are primed already to just be like, oh yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah.
It's digital currency. Like,
Right.
what are you silly Americans talking about?
Yeah, the
Like,
transmitting or to actually get the payment there, but
yeah,
I don't think
that's
they
the
would
hard part.
really want to
No. So let me tell you,
store their savings. Okay, go ahead.
no. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think that's it's a good.
But the remittance
You
part is like
so
just
remittance
aces. Yeah.
through the roof, but
Yeah.
also like shout out to Bit Refill. Well, Bit
Oh
Refill
yeah.
actually sponsors my meetups, but
Nice.
actually it was one of the first
Bit refill.
Bitcoin companies that I've used back in the day. When my friend got me into Bitcoin, we were going by. He's like, dude, you can buy TVs, and we would
With
get gift
the
cards and just get
Oh,
stuff. He
no
was a
way.
miner. He was a
Huh.
miner, yeah, with those
Yeah.
little USB miners and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And he was like, dude, let's go get some tacos. This is
Huh.
Mountain View, California. So everybody,
Right. And they were
back
mining
then, like,
Bitcoin with regular like laptops and stuff back then, weren't they?
yeah, he had a bunch of little USB miners, and he
Oh
actually
wow.
bought this like huge black box.
Huh.
I don't even know what it was back then, dude. It was like one of these big things, dude, like the
Huh.
size of a table.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, yeah. And back then too, like a lot of companies around here in the Bay Area were actually taking Bitcoin,
Oh
right?
nice.
Because
Yeah.
it was so small, it was still on the main chain, but the
Mm-hmm.
fees weren't big enough.
Right.
But once it started taking off, then the fees were like, oh, this is ridiculous. Why would I pay, this much money with the fee anyway?
Yeah.
So like it was totally one of those stories of like we were just doing shenanigans, buying candy and freaking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, how much Bitcoin did we actually lose? But
Right.
I always call it the chicken and the egg problem, where it's like, dude, if you don't spend the money, it won't be worth anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people forget about that too. It's like, well, if we never spent this, would it be worth anything?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, right? Like, so, anyways, going back to like the transmitting to Africa,
Right. Right.
I taught him, I was like, hey, you can buy cell phone minutes. So like
Ah.
yeah, so through Bit Refill, you can actually pop off your cell phone minutes anywhere. Like you can be in the middle of Serengeti as long as you get internet.
Yeah.
And now with I forgot the guy's name, man, but they're because everybody's got the old like Nokia like square
Right.
phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're it's not a smartphone. It's hard. How are you going to scan the QR and do all
Right.
this stuff? They're actually sending payments through like those like SMS.
Oh, no
And
way.
that's
Huh.
something that's blowing my mind right now.
And they're still using the cell phone minutes thing to
Yeah, no, that's a
not
different
sure.
thing. That's a
Yeah.
different thing for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
still
Okay.
probably using that because why wouldn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think the fees are definitely
Huh.
cheaper. You know what I mean? It's the same problem
Yeah.
with Visa, where it's like these fuckers are taking hella fees. So if
Right.
you're gonna send it,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Enter Lightning
convenience.
network, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one use case, right? Where it's like the
Yeah.
fees are way cheaper just
Mm-hmm.
for the transmission, either in remittances or just the ability to like you don't have to fucking walk to the kiosk to get
Right.
your fiat. So that's one thing where I was like
Man.
trying to help my buddy out. Like for me, it's just like, hey, I can't like promise you like a steady, flow of sats.
Right.
So hey, $5, $10, dude, that goes a
Yeah.
long way over there.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And for
For
me,
sure.
I'm like, hey, if you need to convert it back into your shillings, what you should probably do is start topping these guys' cell phone minutes off. So you
Yeah.
can be I'm trying to create the circular economy going on where they can exchange it back into their local currency if they need to, do
Yeah.
something else with
Like,
it.
yeah, that makes
Just
sense, man. Because
get it in their brain, where it's like,
yeah,
hey, this is how it works. Because they already
yeah,
have to have like any 10-year-old over there. There's like 5 different countries. They all have different exchange rates.
right.
The kids already know how to do this. It's
Yeah.
not like out of this world.
Well, I guess it could be similar to the way we do it here too, because since we still live in a fiat world, we still want to keep X number of our value in that just to pay for our lives in this fiat world in the meantime, but then also be able to save in Bitcoin. So I mean, they could do it in a similar fashion, probably just on a lesser scale, because they probably don't have, as much means and whatnot as we do, but they could still be like stashing some away and looking forward. But my only thing was those people that are basically living hand to mouth too, where they're just um, basically burning every penny that comes in on, the bare essentials, food and clothing and everything. So in
So
that respect, it's I guess a lot of them don't have savings anyway, so it's tough. But so as a remittance, it's wonderful. But I think that's another thing Bitcoin will do in eventually in the future is bring the quality of life up for a lot of the people in these third world countries and whatnot too. So I mean,
well, it's that
it's
milkshake theory, right? Where it's like
right.
it's just going to engulf it. So right
Yep.
now, something that a little life hack that I found with Bit Refill is I use Strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've seen it. I've been posting it like crazy, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
something that I just use. So like the other day, I went to Lowe's. They had 10% back if you buy it, and this is when you use Sats,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you need to purchase the gift card with Sats on
Uh-huh.
Bit Refill,
Okay.
10% back, Sats back,
Oh
Bit
wow.
Refill, right?
Yeah, bit
But when
refill.
I use Strike to convert my dirty fiat into Sats,
Mm-hmm.
Strike gives me another 5% back. So it's a total
Ah,
of 15% back. Um, Something that they just rolled out
it's
was
better than the fold card.
Is this? I made a meme. It's like, is this a fold killer?
Yeah,
I made
man.
a meme, dude.
Yeah,
Because
because
yeah,
Fold's
it's
been
guaranteed
yeah.
15% back.
Hmm.
You're gonna
Yeah,
spend the
that's
money anyways.
impossible to
Just
beat.
do
Yeah.
a little song and dance. So I'm
Yeah.
just let's go back to the family budget,
Uh-huh.
right? So I got to spend $1,000 a month. Let's just say that's the thing.
Right.
Well, I get $50 back if one I pay with the I could pay with the freaking credit card, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, credit's a bad word, right? But if I have an Amex card, I pay whatever I need to pay with my
Uh-huh.
Amex card. Then I go to Bit Refill. Bit Refill charges me 1% to pay off the Amex card with Sats.
Hmm.
But then I have to go to Strike. And this is coming from Strike. So Strike somehow incentivizing this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Strike, I pay off Bit Refill. That pays off the Chase card, or sorry, the American Express card. And I get 4% back on everything.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of a no
because
brainer, and it's
yeah,
not probably not going to last forever
right.
because, like I said, this budget is
They'll
coming
figure it
from
out. Yeah,
somewhere.
right.
No, I mean, I think that's how they incentivize
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're
No,
doing
I
it.
was doing a similar thing with the Fold because
But
and
what averages were you getting back?
not that because Sig the motorbike, the dude that was taking the
Yeah, yeah, I know Sid.
he posted one and he was like, hey, I'm paying off my blah 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 with uh PayPal, but you put the Fold card up as the method of payment through PayPal. That way you were getting your extra juice from the credit card too, you know, and you could even have
Correct,
rolled that back into
correct.
Sats too because you were getting that percentage back. So it was like just an extra little thing in there, I wasn't getting that kind of. So maybe you can shoot me those.
Actually,
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
made a video the other day.
Oh,
I
okay,
just got
cool,
a GoPro. I'm gonna be going to
nice.
Bitcoin Park next week.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Hey,
got
what
invited by
are you going with the organizers group
yeah
or
the
whatever, the meetup guys?
exactly the
Oh, sweet,
grassroots.
dude, two of our guys are going. We'll have to,
Sweet.
yeah, yeah, you'll have to meet up with
Uh,
Jed and Alan.
Alan.
Alan,
Yeah, Alan's in the group. I seen Alan.
oh, okay. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're part of a Telegram group. Yeah, shout
Oh,
out to Bako Bitcoiner.
oh, nice.
The guys. I went down to the Bakersfield meetup, just
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
whatever,
did
right?
you?
They were having a meetup, so I went
Oh,
down there,
yeah.
and he
Were they at
moved.
that pub that takes Bitcoin and shit?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I've
Actually,
seen.
hold on. Let me grab this real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you
Lengthwise,
got it.
lengthwise brewery, hazy
Oh,
IPA,
there it is.
Bitcoin
Bakersfield.
hazy ale. Yes, sir.
Oh man, that is sweet, man. Yeah, because our there's a guy Michael that did the Oshi app.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yeah, so he's from here and he's the one who basically got our group going and everything and then like just jetted and went down to like Texas to be with with basically Bitcoin Mecca there in Austin. So, but he on his way down one time he stopped there and was showing us all these pictures and we were like, holy shit, we need to push that on all of our breweries up here and stuff. So that's pretty awesome, man. You went down there, huh?
Yeah, they're totally killing the game,
Oh,
man. And that's
sweet.
how I got on. So he moved out to the East
Oh,
Coast, and
yeah,
he's like, "Hey, you should invite Tony."
yeah, yeah.
And I got tinged up by a Rod Bitkite and
Oh, okay.
Odell.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, "Hey, we're doing this thing, right?" So I was
Oh,
like,
that's
"Oh fuck
sweet,
yeah,
man.
dude!" Like,
Yeah. A couple of our dudes, Jed is the guy who I was telling you about that actually bought the building, and now we have the Bitcoin Center here. And then Alan is I used to call him Bitcoin Jesus, but he kind of took well, we didn't want to take the Lord's name
he's
in vain, so
agnostic.
I
Yeah,
call him
yeah, that's a
Bitcoin
good, yeah, that's a good
Superman
thing.
now. So that guy, so he's a pilot and he flies the rich and famous because his it's 16 grand an hour to ride in the jet that he flies. It's badass, man. It, like doesn't even have a yoke. Like I used to fly back in the day. I have my pilot's license too, but there's no yoke. It's just all like screens, and it looks like the space shuttle in that cockpit. It's crazy. I've toured his plane.
He's a SpaceX guy.
Well, it's his cockpit looks like SpaceX. But anyway,
So
everywhere he
wait.
goes, he's like giving out. I mean, the dude literally, I bet he averages 2 to 3
He puts me to shame,
Bitcoin
and
tips.
I
Oh,
thought I
dude, it's
orange pilled
crazy.
people. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is this the
He
Alan Jackson? Is this the Alan?
It is the Alan Jackson, man.
Is
He's
it
my homie.
really?
He lives
No, no,
down
no,
the
no, no,
road here,
no.
man.
But the Alan Jackson, the singer.
No, no, no.
Oh,
It's
that's.
yeah. No,
I was
we've
like,
made that joke
I don't
before
know. I
because
don't know.
this chick showed up to our Bitcoin meetup like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I lose track because we do it every week. and her name's Katy Perry. It's so funny, and I'm like, we got Katy Perry and Alan Jackson in the house tonight, everybody. It's music
I
night.
think that's where I saw the joke, and I'm like,
Oh
kind of
yeah,
mind fucked me. I was like, is this
yeah,
really
yeah.
Alan
No, that's
Jackson?
it's Alan Jackson, the pilot. So yeah,
Hilarious.
but yeah, you're gonna have to shake his hand too, and
Oh yeah,
we'll invite you up to if you
hell yeah.
ever up in the neck of the woods to.
My girl's family married into some people up in Siskiyou County. So
Oh
I
really?
actually, yeah, I've been up there once.
Oh nice. Yeah.
That's good people up
Yeah.
there. Very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
good
It's
people.
crazy. It's a whole different
Yeah, right here, my shirt right here.
oh dude, I got a flag that looks like that shirt. Yeah, man.
So what things do you see about Bitcoin? What excites you about Bitcoin right now? What
I mean, like you stated, I mean, I was in just for like fiscal gain, like the fiat gains, and didn't know about it. But I think lately, like the crazy part is there's 20 something like use cases or reasons that, even people who are just speculating, that's still a use case. You're still speculating, you're still using it as that. People, we talked about remittances. Like, I mean, that's amazing. We talked about actual, money. But I think for me, the thing that I see that is probably, I don't know if it's as exciting, but I think and it's not even in the insurance policy. It's just when I look at what's going on with the current system, I would be shitting my pants if there weren't the Bitcoin network lying there to just, like a big safety net to just catch all the shit when it hits the fan. Because the current system is it's going to be an avalanche of insanity. I mean, there are so many cracks in the foundation. I mean, it is bad. So I think right now for me, um, I would say that just knowing that financial and value holding network is there because this other one is not looking good at all. So uh I used to struggle with like what is the use case, and it's like all of them. It's digital gold. It's an asset. It's a store of value. It's everything because people are using it as such all the time. And if they're using it as such, it's not up to me to determine what it is. And I mean, not only is it these things, it's the best of all of those things. It is the best money. It's the best store of value. It's the best way to remit stuff around the world. Like it's the best at all of these things. And so it's hard for me to even put one ahead of the other. But right now, I think maybe at the tip of the spear for me is just because of how the current, like, I wouldn't be sleeping well at night if it weren't for Bitcoin because the current system is a shit show. So
yeah, a lot of these systems that we're operating in right now, I consider a Ponzi,
yeah.
right?
Oh, just
Like
total Ponzi, man.
I'm talking about just like the union, what's going on. Like
Oh,
I'm not, there are more guys in the union, not right now, but in certain times, there's going to be more guys in the union than there
yeah.
is work.
Oh boy.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, there's
There's
just
some
going to be
palms greasing and
there's
some
going to
crazy.
be some loot. I mean, it's just the way the system, that's
Right.
how our
And that
monetary
value
system
has to
works.
come from somewhere,
That's how the dollar
Yep.
works.
Yep.
Like there's more debt in the system than there are dollars. So
Right.
who's going to lose?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, all these things are principles and they're all it's like gravity or anything like earlier in our conversation. It's when I alluded to playing poker earlier and I think that's one of the reasons that I kind of got away from it too is I used to play a lot with the same people and I got to the point where they became my friends and I was like, we're not creating value doing this, and I know I can mind fuck you all and I know I can win your money, but then I was just like, I don't want old man Joe's money and I don't want, and I started to feel bad. And then it kind of felt like shit coins later. I was like, huh, that was kind of like poker because I know that I'm fucking him out of his maybe mortgage and he, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm just taking other people's value. I'm not actually creating any good and any value for anyone. I'm just
Yeah, how
taking it from,
toxic is that?
yeah, that's,
Like,
yeah.
how toxic is
You
that?
can call it whatever you want,
No, I'm
man.
just saying people
That's,
don't think about
yeah.
it, right? Where
No,
it's
no,
like
you're
this is
absolutely
just
right.
normal. We're just having a game. I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, it's a very, very toxic
And I
game.
love it. I'll still play and stuff, but I'm not going to go like I used to play, that's one of the things that I did. So it was just like, it's just like, yes.
No, but what what I think about is people's vices,
Right.
right? So that could
Yeah.
be, I understand that could be a game, but that also could be a vice.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
making money is one of the biggest vices that people don't even account for in their lives.
Right.
Like it's literally a drug. Making
Yeah. Oh
money
yeah.
is a
Yeah.
drug,
Yep.
and a lot of people just don't even they just don't
No,
even
you're
compute that,
right. You're 100%
right?
right, man.
So we talk about Bitcoin maximalists. Well, what are the other things? Profit maximalists, fiat maximalists.
Mm-hmm.
Like I call them, like, if you're a profit maximalist, like, oh, I understand, right? You're like, oh, I'm just, and who the hell are we to judge too,
Yeah.
right? Which is
Right.
another thing too. I'm like, I'm not the morality police,
Yeah.
but if you want to make money, go sell drugs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if that's really what you want, and then that's I go to the extreme so I can get the shock and awe, right?
Yeah.
And then the people's reactions are, well, I don't want to do that. Well, why not? You don't have
Yeah.
any morals. You're doing this. You're doing this other thing.
Yep.
You're taking somebody else's, and there's an actual exchange, and
Yep.
people actually know what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's kind of crazy, right? But people don't think about this stuff, and
Yep.
like we go back to the opportunity cost of, like, dude, you're giving up your time. You rather give it to your company than go hang out with your family,
Yes. Yep.
right? Like you go back to the definition of being rich. Like,
Yep.
what are you saving? What are you buying those stupid negative yielding bonds for? So you can suffer when you're old and be like, the rug pulled me, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dude, you can spend time right now. Go to the beach with your family while you're
Yep.
young. Your back doesn't hurt. Your neck doesn't hurt. Your
Right.
knees still work. Like, let's go party right now.
Yeah.
And later, when you're fucked up at whatever, at least you had a good time.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
Yep.
This is what Bitcoin unlocks
Yes.
to a lot of people, and they just don't even think about that.
Right. No, you're 100% right. No, that's probably a good place to wrap up the Bitcoin part, but I was just curious about what's going on Bitcoin Bay Area, because I hear rumors about you guys have some cool shit where you have like little pockets of meetups, but then like
Bay
sometimes y'all get together and like
Area.
fill me in on that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Bay Area Bitcoiners, man, it's just
Yeah.
Bay love, man. Like
Sweet.
that's I shouted out Billy Macdo. So Billy
Uh-huh.
Macdo. So originally I got it's just a Telegram group. It was Bay
Okay.
Area Bitcoiners Telegram group.
Yeah.
Shout out to CK. CK got me on there from Bitcoin
Is he
Magazine.
did he live there?
He lived in San Francisco. I think he just moved.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to dox him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he just moved away
I think
to
I
one of the
think he
other
doxes
Bitcoin
himself
meccas.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
fine.
either in Texas or
It's a
or
principle thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
mhm.
it's a principle. No, yeah, he moved away. No, he's
Right.
cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I remember like Bitcoin Twitter. Like I've been on Twitter for a long time, but I
Uh-huh.
never really realized Bitcoin Twitter. CK, I just started like I basically just shit posting,
Uh-huh.
and I started shit posting at CK, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh." So he's like, "Hey, you might want to join this Bay Area Bitcoiners if you're in
Oh,
the Bay
okay.
Area." So it
Yeah.
was a small Telegram group. And I somehow met Billy Macdo too on Twitter.
Okay.
And during COVID, and we got onto some Zoom that we didn't have anything, being on Zoom, right? Like, so it was just a weird COVID thing.
Yeah.
And then I met him in Miami, and when we got back from Miami, he's like, "Hey, I just want to start because he's up in San Francisco, so he's like, "Hey, I just want to
Huh.
start doing this SF Bitcoin meetups again." And like we're
Nice.
coming out of COVID, right? So it
Yeah.
was hard lockdowns in San
Oh, yeah.
Francisco.
They take that shit seriously down there.
Fucking assholes. So fortunately, he knew Tommy. Tommy owns Aces and Hara in San Francisco. So Tommy was hosting the Bitcoin meetups there at his
What's
bar.
Aces? Oh, it's a bar?
It's a bar, yeah. It's a
okay.
bar.
Is he a Bitcoin guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
That Tommy and Billy knew each other, so we started doing that.
Yeah.
And then they do that, I think, every week or bi-weekly. And
Oh,
then we
okay.
eventually just started saying, like, "Hey, we will." Billy, it was Billy's like idea. He's like, "Hey, let's have one in the North Bay, the East
Yeah.
Bay," and I'm in San Jose, so
Right.
I'm an hour away from San Francisco.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so we just started branching out, and then
Sweet.
people that would make the trip up to San Francisco, like, really, we started just, there were regulars coming by. So we just
Mhm.
said, "Hey, well, you live over here on this side of town, or you on this side of the Bay Area. Do you want to do a meetup over there?" So we started doing that. And
Nice.
then I think it was the Peninsula meetup where we met Thomas, and Thomas is he works for a Bit Refill, but
Oh, okay.
he came just for the Bitcoin meetups, and I was complaining that Fold was basically basically rug pulled me,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, we want to sponsor," because I have a kid, and
Right.
my meetups are more designed for family friendly
Oh,
environment,
okay.
right? It's not just a bar,
Yeah.
right, where everybody's getting hammered. I was doing it at a pizza joint, and then that way you can bring the kids through,
Yeah, yeah.
and you could bring your wife or significant
Hmm.
other, and it's not just like got bros getting drunk.
Right.
Right? And it's kind of one of those things. And then so Thomas was kind enough to be like, hey, well, maybe we could start sponsoring you guys. And it just grew from there. So he started sponsoring
Nice.
the family friendly meetups. From there, it just branched out because I mean, it just started growing naturally, man.
Man, that's sweet.
Grassroots Bitcoining, man. Like
I love it.
we didn't have a meetup, start a meetup. Start
Yeah.
a meetup in your area, man. And if you get one person to show up to your meetup, you were successful.
Yeah, that's awesome,
That
man.
counts as a meetup, man. So
Sweet.
I guess that's my biggest thing with Bay Area Bitcoiners, man.
I love it.
Just partnering up, man.
Yeah.
It's something that anybody can do. And people come and it's like, hey, well, how'd you guys do this? It's like, dude, we're just like bad news bears, man. Like just all showed up and we
Yeah.
started playing the game. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
like it's not like somebody controls this organization or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, you know, but you know, just start a meetup
for
anywhere.
sure.
Anybody can do this,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I know. I think that's probably one of the best ways to grow the human network, because it's like grassroots, and I think grassroots is what it's going to take to change the world, and it's happening, and you're doing it. You're just the guy, I'm just the guy, but let's all keep growing this network,
Yeah, I
So,
think communities can like feed your local community, like
yeah,
feed that,
yeah,
like it's something that you have to nurture, right? Like
yeah.
you can't just expect to like people to show up. Like
Oh,
put some
man.
work in it. Incentivize people to show up,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then that's one of the things with like I reached out to Texas Slim, where it's like
I was
when
just when you
when
said feed, I was thinking Texas Slim, and I'm like, damn it, we didn't talk about Texas
well,
Slim.
oh, real quick,
Yeah, yeah.
when COVID hit in the Bay Area,
Uh-huh.
my girl was up in Oakland. I was in San Jose, and it's like,
Oh,
dude, Oakland shut down.
oh
Oakland's a
man.
food desert to begin with,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
funny that I noticed that like the Mexican bodegas, like the Mexican carnicerias,
Uh-huh.
they didn't run out of meat. And
Ah,
it's
they
like,
got
oh,
hookups.
okay. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
hookups, right? Like everybody's connect. Like I think it's just the tighter knit
right,
network.
right. The
It's not this
community.
big conglomerate
Uh-huh.
thing,
They're not buying
right?
shit corporate and all that. Yeah,
Exactly, right? It's
yeah,
kind of exactly what Texas Slim talks about. And
yeah,
that's that's something that he speaks the truth about, where it's like, dude, you guys got to focus on your local communities. Only you
yeah,
guys know best. That's
yeah,
another thing.
yeah.
Like out of basic economics, I can't control what goes on in Texas. I don't know
Right.
what's going on in Texas. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going up in Reading. Even though we're in California, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the
It,
same
it's
thing.
it's a lot different. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like these local communities that everybody just needs to nourish and grow their own local Bitcoin community.
Yeah. Did you see we've been going out and trying to meet up with our local ranchers and stuff here too? And
I saw a few
we're
couple
trying to
pictures.
get
Yeah.
Slim to come out here. So we're think it's just a scheduling thing now.
Well,
So
hell, I think now you mentioned, I think I was trolling you guys, right? Because we both
yeah,
interviewed Slim on the same day,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, I've got him again when you guys will be at the thing like on the 14th
Sweet,
because we
man.
caught him
Yeah.
beside the road and he was not but we're gonna do a little bit better of a job this time. But we want to actually get him here because there's tons of ranches, and I'm forgetting all the people I knew, and I'm like, oh shit, they own cows, and he's a cowboy, and like I have tons of friends that I know that are like, holy shit, we need to get this network like you said, where it's tight knit, and we don't need a middleman as far as any corporation or anything else. We can go straight to them.
Yeah,
So
we had these networks, we just
yep.
forgot about
A
them.
long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's
that's the
how it
crazy
started, and that's
part.
where we need to go back because it's
Yeah,
another way that we can be controlled as people too, is if they control our food supply. So
exactly.
we want to make sure that we keep those lines of communication, and we're gonna just start going straight to the rancher, and bypass the middleman altogether. So
Yeah, like when COVID hit, I was like, where can I get my local chickens?
yeah,
Like it was like one of the first few things that I thought
oh,
about. I
it's
was
so
like,
funny, man.
we need to get chickens,
Did
right?
you
Like
see my last tweet?
negative, negative.
I was it's chickens.
Really? Are you getting chickens or what? What is
Oh, we
going on?
have chickens.
Now you gotta make me
We live in
digging.
I live in
Start digging.
Palisadro, man. It's like I live in the I don't know. It's cowboy country out here, man. It's like you
All right, I
literally
could dig
see
it.
cowboy boots and cowboy hats and like, I don't want to say redneck, but it's
You got your shit kickers.
damn near. I don't, but I mean, I would feel like I mean, I've done all that shit. Like I've pulled cows and done haying and done everything, but I still would feel sacrilegious if I ever donned a pair of shit kickers or a cowboy hat. Like I would feel like I was disgracing a true cowboy,
Fair
because I'm
enough. Fair
like,
enough.
I'm not trying to profess to be like I can work hard and I've done all that shit, driven tractors and everything else, but you are the man for doing what you do for a living, all the time.
I
So
bet. I bet they think you're all right though.
hey man, I have tons of friends. I mean, I got a buddy and I went to college with, and he raises bulls and rents them out to all these different all over the country too, like for rodeos and shit. And I have other friends who are into cutting horses and ranchers and everything else. So I mean, I'm with you. Like it's like if you're good people, it's like mutual respect, man. And so I get along with like everyone, So it's that's one nice thing about up here too. There's not as many like when the whole COVID bullshit, I think I wore a mask maybe 5 times the whole fucking time, and that was like at a doctor's office
Oh
or when I went
man.
down to visit my dad and like that kind of thing, but never out here. Nobody out here, they could give a fuck because it's like they can see through it. It's like, hey, when it's like you hear somebody say something over and over and over, and after a while it's like the boy who cried wolf. It's like, no, we have a brain, it works, and when you say something 4 times and it's never true, then we just disregard what you say after a while, and it's the same thing with all these economists and everything else. It's like everybody is saying all this bullshit, but if I see a person that speaks the truth and I pay attention and go, holy shit, they're what they're saying and what they're forecasting is coming about, and they're being honest. That's one of the things I love about the Bitcoin community. I've never seen more truth in one place ever. No, it's the same with the brilliant minds. People going, okay, hey, here's what's going on, and then I've been watching it for several years, and these things are going on. Unlike the traditional economists and the ones you see on all these, normal television shows that are saying, oh, buy this shit and buy this shit. And like, if you go back and look at their history, it's just, they're all just tanking. Like, if you would have taken their advice, you would be broke, So,
Well, here's a hot take.
mm-hmm.
A true Bitcoiner is somebody that doesn't have to like you, but he will respect you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's
Right?
another
Where
thing.
it's like, I don't like you. I don't like what you're about. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
what you think, but
Yeah.
I do respect you
Yeah. Yeah.
in the sense of like, hey, that's your opinion.
Yeah. No, I've struggled with like
Right?
guys
Like,
like McCormack and like where I'm just because I've been just like, what the F, what is this guy saying? What's he doing? And but like you said, it's like, okay, like uh if Bitcoin is and does what I'm convicted that it will do, then I think it will have a tendency to morph these people down the road as they see the light and see the truth of like, holy shit, like because honestly, a lot of these people have the same goals. They want happiness, they want love, they want hope, they want time with their families. It's just the way they get there is kind of fucked up in my mind sometimes. But like you said, as long as that goal is there of like, hey, we think Bitcoin can change the world, then I think that that's the best way to change them instead of fighting with them and trying to say you're a fuckhead because you think you need to take a shot
wasted
and you need
energy.
to, yeah,
Wasted
you need
energy.
to wear a mask. And like I still struggle. I'm like, oh, look at that dipshit. That he failed the IQ test. But it's like, no, if you want somebody to respect your choice to not wear a mask, then you need to respect theirs to wear one, even though I think they're a fucking idiot. That's still their choice. You know what I mean? And so
Perspective. It's
I'll do it.
perspective. They might not
Yeah.
be educated enough. Or
Or they might
whatever,
be too
whatever, right?
they may be
Whatever.
too
I'm not.
educated.
Yeah, yeah, right. Fuck that's more
That's
like
another
it.
story. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Well, that's why you go to any of these education hubs and it's like the worst there, and it's like, wait a sec, guys. So let's just use our minds here. Okay, put your hands all the places that your mask has been, like in the console of your car and on that table and everywhere. Now stick your fingers in your mouth, or hold them over your face. It's like you have all sorts of microbials on there. You've got viruses and bacteria and fungus and God only knows what is on all of these surfaces that you just stuck that fucking mask, and now you're going to put it right by
yeah,
the
I
most
actually
sensitive orifices in your fucking body. And then not only are you doing that, but you're also constricting your airflow. Like, well,
simmer down, Lauren,
yeah,
simmer
I know,
down.
right? Isn't this common sense? But at the same point, it's like
Well,
I need to respect their choice to do that, and I want them to respect my choice to not do that.
that's not
So
knowledge and decisions. Another
yes,
great book by Thomas Sowell.
nice, I love it.
Hey,
Well,
real,
that's
real
probably go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I wanted to ask you real quick. Are you
yeah, yeah.
doing podcasting 2.0?
No,
Value for value stuff?
I'm on Fountain, but I'm
Okay.
not. Yeah, I'm not. Like, and I really this to me this is when I started, it was more like we were doing it together, and then we had like conflict issues, and then finally I just did this, and then I got so much personally out of this because I just like talking Bitcoin to like all sorts of people, and then like next it was for where I grew up in Canada. I wanted to reach those people because they were kind of like, no, no. And then thirdly, our local Bitcoin people, and that's who I really see is listening to my stuff. And so it was really just as long as I got the information to them, and like even this conversation, like I'm like, Alan, dude, you got to listen to Tony, man. He's fucking awesome, and you get to meet him. So like that's what it's all about. So
Where'd you
I
hear about me? Well, just on Twitter talking shit or what?
Yeah, I think I read some shit that you wrote, and I'm just like, I mean, I love like all Bitcoiners, but I was just like, fuck, I want to talk to that guy, you know? And then you were just like, yeah, let's fucking talk, man. And it's weird though, because I've met like a ton of people, like the other dude from Canada that's a financial advisor. Same thing. I was just like, oh fuck. Like like I think maybe only one person that I've talked to that I've actually said, "Hey, do you want to talk?" has said no. And he was just, I think he's shy, and I think he was a kid, but he's an anonymous too. And he was just like,
Not a kid.
well, like,
Yeah, yeah.
like a kid. Like
Gotta get his parents'
I'm in my
permission.
50s. So yeah. So to me, kid could be like,
Not Dylan Leclerc. No, just kidding.
yeah, yeah, that's true too. But no, and another dude, that the guy that I was on with when I was talking to Greg Foss, he's a dude that was raised in the same freaking town, which is 2,000 people in the middle of Canada. And I saw like this dude talking about Canada on Twitter one day, and I'm like, dude, I'm from Canada. And then I'm
That's
like,
funny how that works, dude.
it's crazy.
It's that
And I'm like,
network, though. It's that network,
yeah,
though.
it is exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to me, it's like the people, and that's why Bitcoin exists. It's for people. And so I love the technical part, and like you said, I don't code or anything either, but I really want to focus my energy and effort on the second or third or whatever layer we're on, as far as, and that is the people network and growing that network and building the relationships. And so that's the part that I'm super passionate about, because that's what it's for. It's for us.
I'm
It's
right
for
there
you
with
to
you.
be able to save your time and be able to maybe retire early and spend more time with your kid and take trips to cool places, and who knows, maybe at a certain point bug
Well,
out to,
it's like this. I'm
yeah,
going to freaking Nashville next week.
sweet.
Odell and Rod invited me. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm just a
Yeah. Yeah.
guy. I'm just a
Yes.
guy, right? So this is
But
what I'm
you're a
talking
guy.
about. No, but this is what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Like the wealth, we get
Yeah.
to enjoy it now.
Right.
Like we're not
Yes. Yes.
waiting
Yes.
for.
Yes.
You're not.
No.
Oh, I'm waiting to
Yep.
save some money to do. Like we're doing
Right.
it.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
it.
You're
Just
living your life. Yeah.
make it
Yep.
happen,
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
Leave it at that.
All right, man. It's
Defend the
been a
network
pleasure,
out
man.
there, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for
So,
having me.
East Side Tony, everybody. Fucking amazing dude. So I look forward to shaking your hand and having a beer with you one day, man.
Hell yeah.